The two most famous rappers in the world, Drake and Kendrick Lamar, are finally settling their beef in the most gangster way possible, a lawsuit. This might be the first time in rap history a rapper whined to the courts about a diss track. Drake didn't have the balls to sue Kendrick directly since he knows that would cause a huge media backlash against him, so he sued his own record company UMG instead. In his first lawsuit against UMG and Spotify, Drake accused them of artificially inflating streams of Not Like Us in order to damage his reputation. He dropped that lawsuit this week right before filing a second lawsuit against UMG. He alleges they published and widely distributed Kendrick Lamar's diss track Not Like Us while knowingly defaming him in the pursuit of profit and an attempt to ruin Drake's reputation in order to gain leverage in a future deal. Drake also alleges these public accusations against him resulted in several attacks on him and his family at their private home, which led to one of his security guards being shot and hospitalized, barely surviving. So does Drake have a case here? He already lost the rap beef, so let's see if he can actually win the lawsuit. To prove defamation, a plaintiff must show that the statement was false, the statement was presented as fact, the defendant knew the statement was false or acted with disregard for the truth, the statement was published or communicated to a third party, the statement was harmful and caused damage to the plaintiff's reputation. Step 1. Were the statements false? Drake claims he is innocent of all accusations that he engaged in romantic activity with underage women, but did Kendrick actually make those claims? According to the complaint, within the first minute the recording identifies Drake by name and states that Lamar has heard that Drake has predilection for underage women. Say, Drake, I heard you like 'em young. Here, Kendrick references something he heard and gives no mention of actual age. The recording continues to say that any woman who falls in love with Drake should be careful to hide her little sister from him. Again, no age reference. Next, in a perverse reference to Drake's 2021 album Certified Lover Boy, certified P words. In a play on the dual meaning of minor, a person under the age of 18, and a musical scale, the recording says that Drake is trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor. Later in the recording, Lamar describes Drake as Malibu Most Wanted. The recording continues to say that Drake and the people in his circle need to be served with a subpoena because a predator moves in flocks, and asserts that Drake's name gotta be registered and placed on Neighborhood Watch. This is the most direct call out Kendrick makes about Drake and his crew. However, this claim is not unfounded. In 2010, this video circulated where Drake is seen kissing a 17-year-old girl at one of his concerts. The girl, Tia Jayed, later confirmed her age even while she tried to defend Drake. Kendrick is also calling out Drake's entire crew, not just Drake, so some of these claims could be made towards Drake's crew instead of him. Travis Savory, also known as Baka and referenced directly later in the song, was convicted of violence and accused of human trafficking, though the second charge was later dropped. Thus, it was reasonable for Kendrick to levy these accusations towards Drake's crew that he believed to be true. The remaining lines referenced in the complaint sound more like a male Karen than defamation. The recording threatens that Lamar could reveal more secrets about Drake. Rabbit hole is still deep, I can go further, I promise, and that the public will believe him. The audience not dumb, shape the stories how you want. Hey Drake, they're not slow. Threatening to reveal secrets is not defamation. The recording continues by making reference to several Drake songs and accusing Drake of being a liar for denying allegations of criminality. The family matter and the truth of the matter, it was God's plan to show y'all the liar. The recording also makes a vulgar attack on Drake's brand OVO. What OVO for? The other V word option, P word. And let me hear you say OVO, say OVO. Calling someone a liar and being vulgar is Rap 101 and certainly not defamation. Furthering the recording's refrain that Drake is not like us, the recording alludes to Drake's Jewish heritage, saying that Drake is not a colleague but a freaking colonizer. This is just an insult, aka every diss track ever. And finally, Drake's attorneys took issue with UMG's accompanying album cover. Any person who views, listens to, or streams the recording on one of these platforms can view the image. The image features an aerial view of Drake's Toronto home, includes identifying information regarding the location of the home, and is covered in the icons used by law enforcement and public safety applications like Citizen to identify offenders and their residences on public registries. This is a huge stretch. Icons like these can be used for many different reasons. Even if the image may imply certain things, this is certainly not a statement of fact. Step 2. Were these statements presented as fact? As Legal Eagle explains, courts often do not regard lyrical commentary as statements of fact.
Song lyrics often feature metaphor, hyperbole, and creative expression, which courts generally don't interpret as factual statements in defamation cases. For example, in 2005, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit ruled that rap lyrics performed by George Clinton did not defame record producer Armin Baladian.
Regardless, most of Kendrick's offending lyrics in Not Like Us are vague or metaphorical, with certified P-word being the only lyric even resembling a statement of fact. Step 3. Did the defendant know the statements were false or act with disregard for the truth? As I explained earlier, Kendrick had several reasons to believe he was telling the truth, not to mention additional things he was told in private. One thing you never want to be told in private is that you smell bad. That's why I partner with today's sponsor, Mando. I can wear crisp white shirts because unlike some deodorants, Mando doesn't stain your clothes. Mando was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Mando is clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. 12 hours after a shower, the average man's Grundle odor level was a 5 out of 10. With Mando, the average Grundle odor level is a 0 out of 10. Choose from 4 different scents that are all unique: bourbon leather, clover woods, Mount Fuji, and Pro Sport. They even have unscented. Unlike certain traditional deodorants that try to make odor with a fragrance, Mando is formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts, more like a pre-odorant. Mando reduces odor all day and continues controlling BO for 72 hours. Mando's starter pack bundle is a great deal for new customers. It comes with a full-size stick deodorant, a cream deodorant tube or a spray deodorant, and 2 free products like the wipes or mini body wash, free US shipping, and just for my followers, Mando is offering an extra $5 off your order when you click the link in the description below and enter code Spencer5 at checkout. That's a deal of over 40% off. Step 4. The statement was published or communicated to a third party. Well, duh. Not Like Us was an immediate commercial success and broke numerous streaming records, most of which were previously held by Drake. Isn't that a little ironic? It is reportedly the most streamed diss track on Spotify, earning 12.8 million streams, the biggest single day for a hip-hop song. It received 100 million streams in just 9 days and currently has over 1 billion streams on Spotify. Step 5. The statement was harmful and caused damage to the plaintiff's reputation. As one user put it, this isn't a diss, it's the truth. The culture isn't just not effing with Drake, it's correcting itself by kicking out these predators. Drake has more than 800,000 dislikes on that song because everybody believes he loves doing it because we have evidence everywhere. People all over the internet also question why Drake had not yet been arrested and called for the police, the FBI, and the CIA, as well as Child Protective Services to investigate the statements in the recording. It appears that people took the song, along with its accusations, seriously, so it would seem that the song did cause damage to Drake's reputation. The lawsuit goes on to list many more examples which seem to bolster this claim. In addition to the alleged reputational damage, Drake's attorneys levied an additional claim that UMG's reckless behavior put Drake and his family in physical danger as well. Harassment in the second degree. UMG engaged in a course of conduct and repeatedly committed acts which alarm and seriously annoy plaintiff. UMG published, promoted, and profited from a coordinated campaign to smear, threaten, and discredit plaintiff despite plaintiff's protests. Further, UMG has placed plaintiff in reasonable fear of physical harm. UMG published explicit threats and calls for violence against Drake. This is a strange claim, as according to the New York Penal Code, a person is guilty of harassment in the second degree when 1. He or she strikes, shoves, kicks, or otherwise subjects such other person to physical contact. 2. He or she follows a person in or about a public place or places. Or 3. He or she engages in a course of conduct or repeatedly commits acts which alarm or seriously annoy such other person and which serve no legitimate purpose. I'm not sure how a record label could possibly do any of those things, but the claim is made based on several lyrics from Not Like Us and the incidents that followed its release.
After a security guard was shot outside the rapper Drake's house right there, and this is aerial footage of his home in Toronto. You can see it is a very large residence that is being described as an upscale neighborhood.
In the middle of the night on May 7, 2024, an armed group of assailants drove up to the Toronto house in which Drake and his family resided. Drake was inside. The car stopped in front of the residence. Someone yelled, "F Drake," and at least one gunman began to open fire. One bullet went through the security gate and hit Drake's front door. Another bullet struck and wounded a security guard. The very next day, May 8, 2024, a different intruder used his bare hands to dig a hole under the security fence surrounding Drake's Toronto house. On May 9, 2024, the very next day, another break-in attempt happened. In the 2 decades leading up to May of 2024, although Drake was constantly in the public eye, nothing remotely like these events had ever happened to him or his family. So 3 attempted break-ins in 3 days, with one of them sending Drake's security guard to the hospital. Let's see how Drake's attorneys tie this back to Kendrick. The recording also repeatedly suggests that violence should be used against Drake because he is a P-word. Like the sound of someone being beaten up, the recording repeats wop, 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 and then says Lamar will F him up. Later, the recording threatens that if Drake comes to Oakland, where Lamar grew up, he will not make it out alive. I think that Oakland show gonna be your last stop. The recording makes clear that justice will be served not through the legal system and or commentary on social media, F a caption, but through physical violence. Want action, no accident, and I'm hands-on, he F around, get polished. At the end of the recording, the lyrics threateningly repeat, "Hey, hey, 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 run for your life. Hey, 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 run for your life." While these may seem like threats against Drake, this claim is confusing for several reasons. First, these are song lyrics, not direct threats towards towards Drake, which would seem to make them protected speech, as this language is common in rap. Second, they are made by Kendrick, not UMG, and publishing them does not change that fact. And third, incitement would seem a more fitting claim, as others carried out the attacks on Drake, but this is not the claim Drake's lawyers made. Lastly, Drake's lawyers revisited claims from the prior lawsuit that UMG engaged in illegal botting and payola activities. UMG, directly or through its agents, conspired with and paid currently unknown parties to use bots to artificially inflate the spread of the recording on Spotify.
It was 30 million streams, but on what platform?
Spotify. The thing about it is Spotify is the most easy to bot platform, and a lot of people know this, and it's been around for a while. It's no secret that we want to push the song, we want to make it look like a crazy hit, and we want to go crazy, and everybody wants to get paid.
Even if these statements are true, botting is against Spotify's terms of service, but not illegal, and doesn't seem to have any bearing on whether defamation was committed in this case or not. Well, it appears that the bot claim was actually debunked. Anthony Saleh LLC, the company that allegedly paid the bot whistleblower, does not exist according to XXL Magazine and Twitter community notes. Also, one of the transactions says payment received on January 23rd, but didn't post until 4 months later on May 22nd. UMG also offered financial incentives, including direct payments and reduced licensing rates to various third parties to promote the recording. These financial benefits were never disclosed to consumers. If true, this pay-to-play practice, also known as payola, would be prohibited by the Communications Act of 1934. UMG actually paid $12 million to settle a payola case with the New York Attorney General back in 2006. Regardless, this practice, even if illegal, would also have no bearing on whether defamation occurred. It seems like Drake's lawyers are really grasping at straws here. Finally, we come to the potential main reason that Drake just dropped this lawsuit on UMG. Lamar is set to headline the Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show in New Orleans on February 9, 2025, which will be broadcasted on Fox. Why would Drake risk the potential community backlash and embarrassment of suing over a diss track? It appears to be an attempt to stop Kendrick from performing it in front of millions of people at the Super Bowl. But this Hail Mary from Drake looks like it's going to fall short. Defamation in the context of creative expression such as music is very difficult to prove and often seen as protected speech. Not to mention, Kendrick had several reasons to believe the allegations to be true. For the future of rap, free speech must remain protected. We should all hope that poetic justice is served. Thanks for watching.